Hi. So this is just a reminder that I wanted to express when for people that are doing a lot of processing work and a lot of kilobee inquiries or self-inquiry or whatever other practices of processing trauma, intense emotions, repressed feelings, and just all the dense energies and the memories that are still somatically stored. So when we go through processing, we need to be very mindful of the fact, how are we balanced in our daily life? What are the practices that we already had in place that perhaps enabled us to be at ease in the present moment, or to be at ease perhaps, when we go for a nature walk. So whatever it is that you had previously to this processing work in place, continue doing that and do much more of that than actually processing. So sometimes perhaps once a week session with a facilitator is more than enough to have enough information or enough content that came up for you to maintain in awareness for the rest of the week. Perhaps even doing small little guided rest or small little guided self-inquiries in the process in the middle between sessions. But at the same time, I would say support yourself with actually doing the yoga. I mean, yoga became such a mainstream distorted reality. When I started doing yoga prior to KI, and it was in 2007, there was just a few very traditional yoga centers. There was in Montreal, there was a Shivananda yoga center for Hatha yoga. And I can't state enough how amazing and well balancing and nervous system regulating yoga practice is. I can't state enough. It just became so oversaturated, and yoga became such a trend that the actual benefits of it kind of got lost in the middle of this over commercializing yoga. But to tell you the truth, I've seen tremendous miracles really happening just on a yoga mat, just really committing every day or at least 3 times a week to be on a yoga mat for half an hour. It doesn't have to be longer than that. But the balance of the energies and the stretching and the breathing and the really being in the moment with the sensations, with the body, can teach you so much. It can teach you to be in the present moment. It can teach you to be in your physical body. It can teach you to be with the breath. It can teach you to be it can teach you to be with pain, because in the beginning it's going to be a lot of intense sensations, because we hadn't used our bodies in any way, shape, or form, especially right now, being on the computers most of the time, on the screens most of the time. Work is on the computers. Communication right now is on the computers. So we are most of the time just very sedentary. So in the beginning, it's going to be learning to be with pain and in the present moment. So yoga teaches us a lot, but that's not the only thing that can balance your nervous system. For me, it was very, very helpful and very, very obvious when I didn't exercise or I didn't do it for a good week or 2 or so. And I would just notice how it was much more reactive, very explosive, not being able to be more in a witness state as opposed to reactive state. So it does a lot of things. And I'm not saying yoga is the solution for everything, but yoga asana, the yoga posture, can be very, very rewarding when you put it together with a practice of self-inquiry or a practice of meditation. So how else can you support yourself in between sessions? And that is very important. If you do exercise, so exercise is great. It's awesome. The body needs it. The body loves it. And the older we get, the more I see it as almost like, literally, it's like by grace. I'm always grateful when I actually able to implement exercise in my daily life. Not daily, it can be daily, but probably a good 3 times a week. I play tennis. I do something I love. I cannot force myself doing something I don't, my body is not liking. So I do prefer to do sports that I enjoy. So sports could be great, but take a moment after, after you ran, after you biked, after you did whatever you're doing, take a moment and just sit down and just breathe consciously for 10 breaths. So just kind of recenter and allow that energy that was cultivated by the exercise to nourish you consciously. So why yoga is so beautiful in that sense, because not apart from just the part that we're stretching, we're moving energy, we're balancing our polarities, we're also balancing the nervous system, but it's also done very consciously. Sometimes when we do sports, we listen to music, or, we pay attention to the actual movement, and we are present in the moment, because we won't be able to do sports if we're not directly there. Well, maybe running you could do, but something like tennis or any other active sport, you actually have to pay attention and be fully there. But then again, it still happens semi-automatically when we're becoming good at it. So just bringing an extra level of awareness after we did exercise, that could be a good practice to embrace. And I cannot emphasize more benefits to breathing to support your journey through deprogramming, through processing, through uncovering and really allowing all these energies to be revealed, to be consciously witnessed, to be consciously acknowledged, felt, released. So to really support you in that, just adapt a breathing technique that could be very beneficial, very helpful, and very, very fast. Some breathing techniques, like the one I recommend, which is Ujjayi Pranayama, it just takes 5 minutes. Literally, it takes 5 minutes. But I think one needs to understand, why am I saying all these things? It's just when we come very eager to process stuff and our system is not ready to do that. It's kind of like doing all these plant medicine journeys and being burned out by all this information and all the stuff that it unlocks, but not being able to integrate it in our daily life. And the integration is not happening because our bodies are not ready for so much stuff to come up at once. Our bodies are not ready. Our awareness, our consciousness is not ready. So how do you build that muscle of awareness? How do you build that muscle of being here, of being present, of being more spacious, of being more vast, to be able to accommodate all these energies and all these intense emotions and all these intense sensations coming your way without that instant merge with them, not merging consciously, not leaning forward consciously, but unconsciously believing ourselves to be the sufferer, believing ourselves to be the victim, believing ourselves to be all reliving all these intensities. So the trick is, again, prepare your soil. Yoga had a beautiful system. And I'm not saying we need to follow the gurus and we need to, like, that age is over in a sense. For me, I feel like I'm so grateful that none of my teachers were actually alive. And I took everything I needed to take from each one of them intuitively and made it my own. And that what I feel the age right now, the new age, the new earth, the new human, is not going to be depending on teachers, but is still listening to the wisdom of these particular traditions might actually bring you a lot of benefits and a structure that actually works. So how yoga was carved out, and the benefits that it could actually, and it did bring, is that there is a certain thing that you do to prepare your soil, to prepare this body for a higher frequency, to prepare this body for a much more vast, free, light experience. So to prepare this body to be vibrating in a certain frequency, that frequencies such as love, kindness, compassion, softness, gentleness, tenderness, intimacy are very easily accessed. So to very easily access those states and those frequencies, the body needs to be, the soil needs to be prepared. So how do we prepare that soil? Is through conscious exercise, through yoga movement, through breathing, through meditation, through qigong, any other practices, martial arts. You know, there's so many beautiful practices right now, like conscious movement, you know, natural movement. There's all these beautiful new ways of moving our bodies consciously that are out there waiting for you to discover them and make them truly your own. So by preparing the soil, what happens? What happens is a natural, gradual process of readiness, natural, gradual process of not adapting somebody else's ideas and trying to force them upon us, but just naturally evolving into the next stage and the next availability to be present, the next availability or next ability to process stuff without being enmeshed and re-identified constantly. It's just going to be a natural movement. When non-duality, in my case, just following the yoga steps, not necessarily all the yoga steps, but just having the elements of the yoga exercise, the asana, the daily meditation, and discovering who and what I am in the process of just being still, just watching the mantra, in my case, seamlessly, really being seamless with sound. By having the practice of the breathing technique that was allowing me to calm my mind, to be able to meditate or to sit still. So the breathing had helped, the asanas had helped, the meditation had helped, the natural evolution of this process and the curiosity and the honesty with your own experience, not trying to run after a blissful state, but having the commitment to either freedom or truth or whatever your word is, commitment to know what's real. So this was driving, and slowly the non-dual part started to make sense. Not because it made sense in my mind, but because my body, my energy, my field of perception was shifting to accommodate that direct experience. First in small bits, and then in bigger chunks, and then just that's what it is right now, and been for for many years by now. But all that to say, coming to KI with this foundation of being able to sit still, or being able to consciously move and feel energy, be in the body, be with the breath. Let that nourish you, let that balance you. When that is here, then the processing part, it's, I don't want to say a walk in the park, but it's quite entertaining. It's actually fun. It's actually beautiful. I'm actually in love when I actually find something that I can process. Because meeting those energies, meeting the tears and the sadness and the grief and the anger and the suppressed anger and all these other even painful sensations and contractions, it feels like, wow, how beautiful it is to be alive and to be able to experience the full spectrum of being human, from the most sad to the most joyful. And from the most withdrawn and disconnected to the most playful. So how are you supporting your processing practice? What are you doing right now that you can do more of? Can you change your diet or implement perhaps intermittent fasting to feel lighter, to feel more energetic? Can you use a little bit of stretching? Can you breathe a little bit more? Perhaps 5 minutes a day, can you breathe while noticing all the sensations involved in breathing? What else can you do to support yourself? Can you meditate? Can you sit still for 15 minutes? Can you just sit without moving and just watch your thoughts? Just allow awareness to move freely, to move spontaneously. And perhaps even watch it settling down and resting for a moment, becoming still, spacious, immobile. How else can you support yourself? Are you expressing or doing something you love? And what blocks your expression? Bring that to KI. Is there trust in your own intuition and your own practices and your own path? Is there trust in the process of the Kilby increase and that method? Is there trust in you? Bring that to inquiry. Because without trust, nothing's going to budge, nothing's going to move. So how are you supporting yourself? And I would say the support, apart from the processing, should be probably there 80-20. It's not 50-50. It's really 80-20. And the 80 is everything else enjoying life, meditation, conscious movement, nervous system regulation, breathing, swimming, sunbathing, bare feeding, grounding, loving, playing with kids, laughing. What's your 80% to 20% KI or self-inquiry or any other processing techniques that you're using? I'll leave you here. Enjoy. Much love. Alina's here. Love you so much. Truly.